Welcome back to another video. Today's video we're going to go over the motor from the PT Cruiser we got from the junkyard. We're going to see what I should replace, what's going to need to be replaced. Don't seem to be a lot really. The plans are, I plan on getting a engine stand here very soon. I think I do want to put this motor inside the car. It's a lot cleaner. But I do want to pull that valve cover off, see what the valves and everything, the cams look. Check the timing belt. The belt that's on the car now is pretty much brand new, so I just might transfer that. And the water pumps was replaced as well. But I just might get a new water pump, just to be safe. The turbo on this motor is good. We'll get to that here in a minute. So this is the motor. We can actually see what it looks like outside the motor or outside of the car. The O2 sensors look good. I only cut it here at the pigtail. The alternator looks good. It moves good. There's a little damage here at the pulley. But the alternator on my car was replaced before I got it, and it still looks new. Obviously, I'm going to have to replace this part of the exhaust, which I need anyways because the flex pipe on my car is broke. Let's see here. The oil lines don't look bad. They got some heat to them. You can feel that. I'm going to get those replaced. Obviously, I'm going to do an oil change, new filter. Let's look over the turbo setup. Yeah, you can see in there. I just gotta get a spot to grab onto. I am going to stay with the stock blow-off valve, but I am going to put my blow-off plate between it. The wastegate on this looks to be good too. I know the one that's on my car. Oh yeah, this is good. The intake, David left the snuff can lid in there. Awesome. Thanks, David. There's the intake, the throttle body. Here's some extra wiring. The intake cover, this shit is coming off. I'm going with my metal one. I'm probably going to need to order new gaskets for it then. The power steering pump, all of this is good and dry. There is a little crack here. I'm gonna maybe try and glue it. Hopefully there's no damage to where it leaks, because mine leaks. The AC compressor, there's a nick in there from cutting. We were just trying to get it out of the car. A little bit of marks here on the crank pulley, but I can probably just switch that out. Take that motor mount out. But I think I just want to kind of tear it down, clean it. I do want my valve cover. Mine on the GT is actually orange, so I definitely want that. Like I said, we're also putting the metal intake back on. But yeah, let's start taking off some parts. Well, I finally got the exhaust part at the back of the manifold off. The scrapyard, they used a cutting torch to cut the cat off. I only broke one bolt in the process. It was actually rusty. Might have been able to save it if I could find my WD-40, but I have no idea where it went. And I don't remember having it whenever we were doing the motor at the junkyard, so who knows? Alright, well, I got the bolts out for the heat shield, but I cannot get it past the oil line. So I'm going to go ahead, disconnect the oil feed line from the top of the turbo. I'll pull the shield out. So I pulled the top coolant line off. There was a bunch, I don't know why I wiped it off, but I did. But there was a bunch of mud sludge up here, like oil and antifreeze. but the inside of the turbo's clear, the bottom's clear. Get the bottom coolant line pulled here. We'll just do that now. Let's see if it looks the same. No, it's clean. Maybe it was just that spot. In the video for the Junkyard, when we were pulling this, I did check the oil and it was clean. Even the bottom of the oil cap, there wasn't no mucus and gunk. Out of the ordinary, that is. I took my coolant lines off, hoping to give myself some more room. Try and get this pulled. But the oil return line is literally blocking it. I can't get it to... I need it to turn, and it just won't turn. And I don't really want to ruin it, because I don't have one for the other car. And this one's actually really good shape, for the most part. So 5/16 bolts. Let's see, where are we here? 5/16, I believe, is what size they were. It's just those two. I could order new crush washers and a new gasket for that, but on the other car, it's only got a couple hundred miles because I did that because I had an oil leak, and I was seeing if maybe that was the problem, but it wasn't. It was also when I was going to replace the turbo cartridge, but the one that I got, it didn't come for the brass fitting. It was for the banjo style bolt, and I didn't have the money to try and continue messing with it, so I put the other turbo in, the stock one. This does not have any Teflon tape on it, so there's something for me to keep in mind whenever I go and put this back together. To pull this off, it was only a 3/4. Bottom is 5/8, 16 millimeter for the coolant line bolts. I also put the crush washers back on with it, so I didn't lose them. But yeah, I'm going to go ahead, pull the return line off, and we'll keep going and try to get this heat shield out of the way. It's close. So it is, in fact, 5/16. It's just two of them, so I'm going to go ahead, take them out, move that line down, pop the shield out, and put the bolts back in. Yeah, this gasket's actually pretty clean, minus just a little bit of oil and crap that just came from moving it to the side. Clean it, and I'll probably just replace it anyway. A lot of the parts on this motor look a lot better shape than what was on mine anyways. And this motor really is a lot cleaner. Well, got the heat shield out. I would say for a PA car, this is actually really good condition. I don't see it cracked anywhere. Nothing. Oh, wait, yep, there's a crack right there. Might be able to close that up with a welder. Yeah, not too shabby. Next thing that I'm going to want to do, let's see if we can pull these four off. And then the oxygen sensor will go with it. That'll open the back of this motor up. and we can really start to see things. But I do not want to split the turbo or any of this. I don't want to split the turbo. If it is in fact good shape, then that's what I want. I want to keep it that way. After I do try to get this off, I want to get the intake cover off and try to get down to the valve cover. And we'll see what we can see there. Alright, well, we got that little piece of downpipe off. I'm not going to actually need it because that's the stock one. And my car has the 3-inch downpipe, and then everything down for underneath the exhaust is all 3-inch. I just need the flex part, really. I did see on Modern Performance that they do sell just the flex part. It's a lot cheaper than just the entire exhaust piece that I would need, but then again, it'd be nice to have all new pipe right there anyway, so I'm debating on that. I've also seen that that pipe's no longer available on their site, but if I send them an email, if they have any, then they can get me one shipped. So hopefully I can still do that when the time comes. Otherwise, I don't know what I'm going to do yet. We'll figure it out. But the wastegate opens up nice. I would like to clean that before I put everything back together. I also don't see any signs of an exhaust leak down below here either. I don't see no carbon buildup, so that's a good sign. I still would want to probably change the gasket anyway. I believe the master gasket set for this comes with all the gaskets that I pretty much need anyways. So let's go ahead and start taking the intake cover off. Like I said, I'm not going to use this one. I have a metal one. So let's start. Well, I got the intake off, and you can clearly see there's some oil. I think I'd be okay anyways. Get that to focus a little bit. Maybe I can get some more. It's not really focusing that well either. I do have a compression tester. I'd like to try to get power straight to the battery, but I need to I need to get power to the starter. But anyway, I need to try and get the motor situated safely first. That way it don't try rolling and rocking, or the flywheel catch on the tire or something like that. This is just temporary, just so I can have a little bit of something. I'm going to have to be careful with my oil cooler on the car because I noticed that this one is cracked. So that's something I'm going to have to keep in mind. But all in all, I mean, it's coming together. We'll get this moved down. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to pull the plug wires off. We'll see what they look like. So far, I don't see any oil inside it. That's a good sign. I don't know if you can see in there or not. Now I'm going to have to get a light. Let's come back to this. That's better. This phone actually has a really nice flashlight. Let's see if we can get a better look in there. Don't look too bad. That one don't look bad. That one don't look bad. Let's go ahead and pull a plug. Yeah, that spark plug's been used. She's got a lot of black carbon on the tip though. See if we can see what inside the cylinder might look like. Well, you can't see inside. I need to get a borescope, that's for sure. That's something I'll look into, but if I'm going to pull this valve cover off, I might be able to see better once it's inside anyways. Next, I'm going to go ahead and pull the coil pack off. Well, I pulled the plugs out. Here's cylinder number 1. Number 2. I will have better lighting here soon. I'm going to do a little bit of upgrading with the garage. Get some LED lights and stuff in here. Here's number 3. And you guys have already seen number 4. Now, I'm going to go ahead and move on to pulling the coil. 4 10mm bolts later, it's off. We'll stick that to the side. And I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to pull this center motor mount off. I want to look and see what the timing belt looks like. And then we'll go ahead with the valve cover. So I got the center motor mount off, including the power steering pump, and I took the timing belt cover off. I got it pretty freaking close there. I just need to pull the 19mm off from down here at the crank, use my jaw puller, pull the crank off, then I can pull this other cover off just to make sure it, it's still in time. Also get a look at the water pump. It looks like the timing belt tensioner has been replaced, and actually the belt does not look bad at all. I noticed this screw was out. It was missing a screw here. So at some point somebody did in fact do a timing belt on here. I got real scared for a moment. I couldn't get it to turn over by hand, and I realized, oh wait, the flywheel is on the back of this and it was catching soil. I have it up in the air just a little wee bit. But 2.4 liter front, up. Not too shabby so far. This would have to come off anyway for me to pull the head to check the cylinders and everything like that. So it really does make me want to do the master gasket set. So I'm crossing my fingers for that. We'll get that figured out. Come back. The cams are off. I got the timing belt loosened. Dummy me decided to take the timing belt off before everything else, so now I can't get the crank bolt out. So I'm going to grab an impact here within the next couple days, which is fine. What I'm going to try and do now is, I guess I could try to pull the exhaust, huh? Since the cams are now off, and once I get the crank bolt out, then I can fully remove the rest of this plastic, which it's fine for now. But for now, let's go ahead and let's get our injectors and our intake manifold off, and then we'll try working on the exhaust manifold, and then we can go ahead and start getting ready to take the cam caps off, see how they look underneath, pull the cams, and get ready and start pulling the head studs. Let's get to it. So I'm going to go ahead and remove my fuel rail and remove the injectors. I already have my injectors unplugged. There's two 13mm bolts that hold the fuel rail up. And I'll bag and catalog those as well once this is finished. So now, this recording here actually starts after the old motor has been taken out of the car. There's a bit of a change of plans as to what I'm going to do. These injectors really are clean. I will say something. I have noticed somebody was messing with something on this motor before, because the outside injector here, the safety clip was missing, but the other ones had it, which is fine, no big deal. Now we're going to go ahead, these should be 10 millimeter. I'm going to go ahead and start to remove the intake manifold bolts. These should be 10.
I hope these come out easy.
Or something down at the bottom, connecting the dipstick to the manifold. Yep, 8 millimeter. I gotta figure out what I'm going to do, because somehow the handle of the dipstick, somehow it's broken off. Nobody knows how the fuck that happened. But okay, now this manifold is ready to slide out. I'm not using this intake anyways. So that can just come down there for now. Now, I'm going to say, is going to be the fun part. I need to pull the cam sensor too. Out of the way. Back to the 8 millimeter, it looks like. I know it's going to be hard for you guys to see. Actually, we'll do a quick little close-up. I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 bolts to pull. Cams are really clean as well. I want to check them for flat spots. That one broke loose. Oh, that hurt me. That one broke loose. That one was loose. Oh, easy. Easy now. I don't like the way you feel. So now we're going to go faster. 13. Here's another 10. That one's loose. That one. I can't get into that one. Turbo should be removed for this one, I guess. Come on, loose. Yeah, well, it was loose. Huh. And I didn't even do it. So what I thought was supposed to be a 13 is actually a 12. And it's still pretty stiff. So we'll put a little extra deep creep on that. And while that soaks a bit, I guess continue on the 2 top 10s. Freaking body bolt used for the exhaust. Lovely. That should be everything. 1, 2, 3. Yep. Time to pull the exhaust manifold off. There we go. exhaust manifold's off. We'll set this aside. Alright, well, I think it's time for cams to get ready to come off. So now I'm going to go ahead and start to prepare to pull the cams. I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to start with my 8s, and I'm just going to go across, well, make diagonals. So I'll start here, release this tension from the center, and then I'll take the cap, one off the cap, and then vice versa. So I'll go from here, 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 here. And I'll do that for the other side. I should also mention that I do have a box set up, already labeled. So as I pull bolts and the cam journals, I can go ahead and just stick them onto the box. That way nothing gets out of shape or misplaced, I should say, when it comes back to assembly. So you don't want to take a risk of placing any parts wrong. So we'll keep going. Well, the cams are all loose. I want to be very careful because I don't want to mess any of my lifters or anything like that. So I'm going to be very careful. I do have the box labeled and everything is in sequence. Don't worry about that bolt. That one was messed up. I'm just going to get new ones. But they all came out really easy except for this guy. He was rounded. There's another one that's a little messed up too. I'm not sure like really what was going on, but somebody was definitely inside this motor. Now to find out for what. Okay, so now I got all my rockers out and everything. I have inspected them. They're all round. I don't see any flat spots. All of them roll over real nice and easy. So I'm going to say that these are okay. I didn't see anything wrong with the cams either, other than there was some heat marks, but I think that's just usual wear and tear. But now I'm going to go ahead and get ready to pull the head. Well, the head's off. And other than some goop, the ports could use a really good cleaning. I'm assuming it had an overheating issue. Or it's just crap that collected up. Give the block a good flush. Let me look at that. Not too bad. The cylinders, other than this rustering, which I can kind of feel. You don't feel the top of the ring ridge. Cylinder walls don't look too bad either. I'm going to move this. A bunch of crap just fell in there too. I'm going to move this into better lighting so you guys can see. The video ends here. There's no more to show. I continue to keep working. The block's completely bare now. Most of it's actually clean. The pistons are out. Rings look great. Cylinder walls look tremendous. Not a whole heck of a lot needs done. I do have parts ordered. Most of them are here. In the next video, we're going to go ahead and start putting the motor back together. I'm just getting the instruction sheet, making sure I have everything that I need first. I want the job done correctly. But thank you for watching. Much appreciated.